Hello, everybody. This is another episode of Analytics Mindset, and this is actually going to be a very shorter one than most of my other videos because it is Labor Day. And because I do labor, I am taking the day off too. With that being said, I will go into the COALESCE function this time around. This is going to be less about all those videos I have had recently. Regarding certifications I have done in the past and more towards quality of life. If you don't know this trick, you might find it very helpful, etc. So yeah, just a little smaller video in between those things. Without further ado, this is not part of any series. I'm gonna put it as part of season 2, but you will see some sequel here. First of all, I want to look at the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the US, the employment earning hours earning dataset. As you can see here, you have the series, the year, the period, the value, footnotes, dates, and the series title. I'm going to start by modifying the SQL clause, and I'm going to start to say where the year is equal to 2020. Actually, let's do 2016. BigQuery will give you an estimate of how much it's going to do. You can do the execution graph too. You can see here how it's processing the records, filtering them by and all that nice stuff. And you can see that we still have quite a bit of records actually. I'm going to go ahead and also do it by a date. So, and date, it's equal to, and you usually need to put it as a string, 2016 0101, the beginning of the date. W beginning of the year data. That should shrink my data set quite a lot. Yeah, I did. I have still 25,000 records. That's quite a lot, but I got most of my records. You can see it says the series title, footnote codes, a lot of them are NA, and you can also get the period, the value, and the year and the series. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to take one specific series. We are going to take uh, this one, marketing consulting services, not seasonal adjust. We're going to take this series ID and further reduce our dataset by this. And that should really shrink this data. There you go. You only have one specific one. Now, COALESCE is a very powerful function. So you can see we have gone into some procedural programming with case when before. Let's say I want to do something like this. Case when. And then I'm going to say date is null. Then year, else date, and as date mod by the modifier. The first thing you're going to see is that we have two different arguments here. Date is actually not a date. The year is an integer 64. And then you have the date being an actual date. So I'm going to need to cast this. And you will see that it still cannot cast. For purpose of this video, there is ways to cast dates into that. But for this video, I'm just going to do this. Yeah, it's not going to allow me to do. All right. We are just going to recur to the other one. We're going to make both of them string, just for demonstration purposes. There you go. I'm taking this modified record and saying, just give me whatever is there and it's not null. And you will see that it's returning the date. Why? Because the date is there. it's not null. It goes first through the year, then says if the date is null, it is not, give me the date. But because it's null, it's going to go to the date and return you the date instead of the year. Now, if that was empty, if date was empty for whatever reason, it will return you date instead of the year. Now, we can do this in a different way that actually will be way better for us. That's where the function COALESCE comes into place. What COALESCE will do is bring you two values, and it will take whichever of them is not empty. We will run this. And as you can see, we got 2016 now. Give it a second to think why. You may want to pause the video just to see why this happened. We remember that we are expecting the other date and not this specific date. We're expecting the actual date to come by, but not this one. In the case when, it made sense, right? We had date is null, go to the year. In this case, something else happened. All right, I gave you enough time. The reason why this is happening is because of the order. Coalesce is a function that really is sensitive to the order. It will return your first, whichever is first, and then the second one. And the magic of Coalesce is that it's way faster than case when, usually. Case when is a structure that requires a lot more logic inside it. Coalesce is just saying, from this list of values, determine whichever is not empty. So, for example, so you can see here, I'm going to put null first, then this date, then this year. And you will see here that I still getting this. The null is being registered, but because it's the COALESCE function logic is, I will always follow whichever the non-null value, the first non-null value in my series is, I will return you that. Again, it is just a very handy function to have sometimes. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this series. And you will see that we still get 22,000 records. So that's a little bit too much for us. Because we don't want that many of them actually. I am going to give you one more trick under the belt to work on this. You will see that all the period is exactly the same, 2016, date, etc. And the date mode is also there. So we're gonna get a value in between. We're going to say that value is between, let's say 1,000 and 10,000. And I forgot the end. There you go. There is 25,000 for the kind of thing I want to do. That's still way too much. We're going to narrow the range. That's still too much. We're going to do 1,000 to 2,000. Yeah, no, still too much. That's enough. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to get all these series IDs and then pass them here. That way I'm going to have the series ID here, and I'm going to get rid of the value. And I'm going to identify the occupations that have that 1,000 to 1,500. Now, something you will notice is that the in function, you need to put inside the parentheses every single one of these string values in quotation marks and with commas. And for 861 records, that's a lot. I would never do that manually. It is very cumbersome, let me tell you. I have needed to do it in the past. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download this, and I will show you a little trick that I use from time to time. No, I remember that I'm in the free, I am in the free result here in the free tier. Obviously this is going to be a lot more, and it's saved it to my Google Drive. Actually, I do want it download. because of that, it's just slower than you will face. I cannot use my corporate account for obvious reasons, so I just need to do it here with the limitations of the free tier. Now, the BigQuery will allow you to just get all this CSV with all this data. Now, Excel has a coalesce function that can also be very helpful to you. So, what I'm gonna do is take the quotation marks, and you will notice they will disappear. Actually, you need to do two of them for this to work. And then you have your quotation mark, and then comma. And then what I'm gonna do is saying coalesce. Actually, it's going to be concat. I'm going to concat first the actual string delimitator, then actual string, then the delimitator again, then comma. There you go. And that's exactly in the format that you wanted. What I'm going to do is just remove this column and show you a very easy way to do this. The format updated. I am just going to bring this all the way down. I'm going to bring this all the way down too. And I'm going to bring all the way down. Now, every single series here is going to have what I need. The last one though, we don't need the comma, the last one. I can just get rid of it. Now you can see every single one of them is in the format that the in clause needs in SQL. And I will just copy this and paste it in the in clause. There you go. BigQuery accepted it. It gave me 861 results. And as you can see, every single one of them, I did it all in once. The concat function can be a very useful tip, especially, again, when you are looking at some specific values for whatever reason, you need something very specific, or you just don't know your data. That happens, especially when you're working with new data. You may just not know which values are these. You may not know how to query them. It is very helpful to have a very handy function in Concat in Excel where you just have all the structure that the in clause was to you. Because again, the in clause will take the distinct values of the list that you give it. So if you give it multiple values, it's still gonna, and there is other tricks that you could do. You could, do that list into a certain format and then just convert it to strings and upload it to BigQuery. I just prefer this way. It's simpler in my mind to do this by just taking it out into Excel, then concat it, and then whatever values I need. And I mean, if you're working with 5 to 10 distinct values, it's not that bad. You can do it manually. But after you hit the 20 to 30 ish, I would say after 50 for sure, I will not do it manually. It's just too much work. And there is tools like this that you will help you. Mind you, if you put it into Copilot, it might throw you something similar, but for the amount of work that took me, I don't feel it's worth it. I have tried a couple of times. But yeah, I mean, the last thing I'm going to show you is we're going to try to have Copilot doing this for us because we gotta work with the AI. And when Microsoft keeps pushing us AI all over the place. Again, it's not that complicated. You literally just took the input, then say, give it quotation marks and comma. And I will say here, take this list and put into a format the SQL in clause can use to filter for the values here. And the message exceeds the character limit. Let's see if we can just, it's fine. We are just gonna take, there you go. No, it's not all the list, but it's around more than half of it. I just want to show you what can Copilot do. You could use other AIs, but that's a problem of a lot of these AI chatbots. Unless you got the paid version, you will need to rely on certain limit of characters, and it can get very cumbersome. I mean, this is 862 characters. I can tell you, I have worked with way more than that in the past. Yeah. It did give me the well, for not that many. It says continues with all the values. And again, limitations of the free version. If I had the premium version of Copilot or GPT, probably would do it. But because I don't, usually in my experience, my internal tools are also like that. They will tell you, hey, you exceed the character limit. No, but it can do it. Just again, why bother when Excel will for sure throw you that specific output? Alright, that was a quick video. With that, I really hope you have a good day. And yeah, happy Labor Day, everybody. As always, I really appreciate any support that you may have for me, even if that's just a like, a comment, or feedback. Thank you. Have a good day.